Hello, I'm a duck. Let's talk about stand. This is the finale of my personal art journey implementing elements of the Spiderverse art style into my own. If you haven't seen parts 1 through 4, I highly encourage starting out with them to understand my mindset when approaching this piece of artwork. Let's get into the video. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this one. After 4 strong experiments with the Spiderverse, the syndrome had finally caught up to me. I wasn't sure if I could make this experiment work, as I needed to stretch myself a bit. I had decided to try a different direction, and instead of being so detailed, I wished to be subtle. There was an untold story that had to be explored. Fighting the syndrome here was different. It was unknown territory. That was fortunately the exact reason why I had to push through this. If I could beat the syndrome here, I could beat it anywhere. There were artists with simple shape language who truly had a knack for making the subtleties shine. Regardless of how simple it sounded, the very fact of that is that it wasn't. Pulling things like this off required knowledge of great caliber. This is where I found Jackie. I had seen and liked her art before, but hadn't fully immersed myself into her art style. For the moment, I would borrow from her. Don't worry, Jackie. You are absolutely on my list to steal from. That, however, is for another time. I wished to have a rush of hope. I needed strength, so I turned on Am I Dreaming? By Metro Boomin, A$AP Rocky, and Boise. Then, started the rough sketch of my own. All I needed were shapes, silhouettes to start my scene. Their poses would have to speak loud, and the minute details I sprinkled in louder. The first 3 I struggled with, but only briefly. I wanted something authentic for each of them, and really walk the line between quantity over quality. I knew from the start it would be a big piece and would take a while to work out all the things that I needed. In the end, there had to be just enough information to convince people that they knew exactly what they were looking at. The sky was rendered quickly and beautifully, giving me all the more reason to start the official study soon. Next, I built the buildings. A cityscape was required, but here's where I made my first mistake in this art piece. I wanted so badly to explore this new space that I quickly rushed past everything between the sky and the characters. I made windows out of existing assets. Interest in the unnecessary information had me stopping short of things. I had proven that I could create a beautiful city art with adrenaline, but I was losing drive. I was tired. This was no excuse, as I could have just taken more rests. Masking the lapse in dedication, I started covering the lower level. Blinding lights were meant to showcase the hustle and bustle of the city, while keeping me in the trend of running away from my responsibilities. I saw something wrong, but ultimately knew that no matter what, as long as I finished this, I could learn from it. The syndrome was pushing me into a corner. I moved on to lighting the buildings and then adding in small pops of color into each silhouette. This was where I spent my time. This was my playground. And I was having fun again. Each of these characters were built as something special, unique to their worlds. The minuscule details here worked wonders, but partway through I realized that I had made my second mistake. I had begun them without reference. This definitely didn't last long, but I couldn't start over. I had to strive. What I had come to understand is that sometimes you make good art, and sometimes you make bad art. regardless of how it comes out. That's okay. It's funny because I was reminded of this recently by our wholesome art dad, Scott. Yes, Scott, like Jackie, you too are absolutely on the list to be studied. I honestly can't wait to explore your unique use of colors. By now, you're probably wondering, Sofa, if you made so many mistakes, with the syndrome creeping in, why did you continue? Believe it or not, the answer was because I was still having fun. Making a mistake in art is like opening a new path for improvement, unlocking a new skill tree, paving a new way. For a long time, I hated failing at something, until I realized that whatever I was doing that I had failed at, anytime I actually did that piece, that failing, it became a puzzle to solve. Guess what? This duck loves puzzles. So my mentality coming into this wasn't to create a masterpiece, it was to find multiple puzzles and see how far I could get into them. I knew by now that this was the end of the experiment. The syndrome fought me on whether I could do something that looked decent or not. It wanted the battle. How short-sighted. I could confidently say that I had already won 3 out of 5 bouts with this. My eyes were on winning the war by completing the project. If I could do it once, I could do it again. Even though I didn't feel like what I had was perfect, it was every bit of the fun that I needed. I proved that I could start something big with Sundown. I proved that I could throw caution to the wind with Leap. I proved that I could shift my perspective with Viewpoint. And I proved that I could carry that energy forward with Adrenaline. All there was now was a closeout. Make no mistake, it wasn't the best. But as I said before, way back when I started this, all it had to do was surprise me. Just like before, I was tired and fatigued, but carried my drive to the finish line. Though I needed rest, my head was held high as I took a stand. 17 hours, 16 minutes. Hello everyone. I hope you enjoyed Stand and the entirety of the Spiderverse project as a whole. I do see things as a failure, certain parts of it, but there's so many successes through this that I can't help but be excited about what comes next. Like I said during the video, doing a lot of this stuff in general, it's just to see what I fail at, to find new avenues and aspects to, I guess, improve. It's crazy because starting this as an artist, I never would have even thought that I would have gotten this far through this. 5 different pieces of artwork, and I failed at certain aspects in 2 of them. I'm excited about how far I got. I'm excited about the things that I excelled at, honestly, the things I was able to learn. And ultimately, all of this is an experiment. All of this is a way for me to find new things to get better at. Now, even YouTube. This is a very new channel. It's a new thing for me. I've been looking at YouTube for years. Imagine a duck scrolling on a phone constantly. That's hilarious. But regardless, all of this stuff is an experiment. And YouTube is a way for me to document my process through this. So there will be more videos. There'll be more experiments. There'll be more art. This isn't about the channel blowing up and becoming all famous or anything. This is about an artist wanting to find different things to improve on and seeing how far he can get in it. before he has to shift his mindset again. And I'm excited to explore that. So, if you liked anything in the video, as always, you can find my art at SofaKingDuck on Instagram. And you can see more of me on YouTube very soon. If you want to leave a comment, suggestions, questions, concerns, then please, by all means, speak to me. I don't have anyone else to talk to about this right now. I mean, they're fellow artists, but at the moment, I'm in a bit of a competition with them. Either way, with that being said, I'll see you soon.